back on the Lobo Basketball pregame show. We're joined by head coach of the University of New Mexico, Paul Weir, entering his second season. The Lobos at CSUN, Cal State Northridge, to open 2018-2019. Coach Weir, it's great to be with you. First question, how did it end up that you're starting on the road playing CSUN?
I wish it was a simple answer. There's a lot of layers to it. At the end of the day, they approached us about starting this series towards the end of when we were finishing up our schedule. We were trying to put a few things together with regards to a potential game in Hobbs, our season opener, different things of that nature. The NCAA changed their rules this year where the season now opens on a Tuesday as opposed to a weekend. I really wasn't all that thrilled about having a season opener either on election night or kind of during the week. And just because they pushed it back, I didn't want to necessarily adjust to that. In addition to that, we obviously have a lot of new faces in our program this year, and I wanted to make sure early on we were getting as much practice time as we possibly could and kind of experiences where we could kind of grow as a team. So we kind of moved our whole schedule back, so to speak, without exhibition games and things like that. We've moved it all back to kind of give ourselves some more practice time, and then this obviously an opportunity to go on the road early on and hopefully gain some experience in the process. So probably a lot of little things kind of added up, and we're happy to be here, and hopefully we'll get started off on the right foot.
And you mentioned earlier this week the opportunity to get a chance to win a road game right out of the gate, which is something it took you all the way to mid-January to do last year.
Yeah, we really struggled last year, earlier in the year on the road. Just a lot of games, a lot of things were going on earlier in the year where we just really weren't playing to the level we wanted to. Finally, we got over the hump in January, but hopefully this will give us an opportunity early on to go out and play well and gain some confidence.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir's alongside. You talked about your roster and so many new faces turning over really everybody. You bring 4 back, but a bunch of new faces. Expectations from the outside, though, are pretty high for your team. What are your expectations for your team as you bring a new group together?
Very high as well. I don't know how realistic that is on all of our parts, given all the new pieces. But, college basketball is changing a little bit. It's not everybody's undergoing a lot of change. Kids are transferring at very high rates, and there's just a lot of moving parts to college basketball rosters in general. So, having that stability in a roster is terrific. I think it gives you a great advantage, but it's also maybe a bit of a dying one. It's rare. So, ideally, we can work towards that and start to build rosters like that ourselves. But heading into this year, the turnover that we had was a little bit by design and a little bit by kind of the sign of the times as well. So we like the team we have. We're really excited about the upcoming year. I do think some of the expectations are definitely justified, and now it's going to be our job to go out and hopefully prove them right.
Leads right into the next question I wanted to ask, because there was a great finish to last year after a rough start, but with such a new roster, a sign of the times, as you point out, is there any possibility to get a carryover momentum from last year, even though you really only returned 4 guys that experienced it?
I would love to, and I think there are some things that have carried over as far as, I think, just an internal maybe confidence, a belief that we can do it, that the things we do work, and our style and the way we play and the things we do will allow us to achieve success. So I think there's some good carryover there. But the reality is it's a whole new team on a brand new journey, starting to kind of create our own chapter now. And that's independent of last year, and that's something that we have to go out and do on our own now.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir is alongside. It's a lot different, the roster as well. It's much bigger. You have size and depth up front, which you did not have last year. But major turnover in the backcourt. There's no Anthony Jackson. There's no Chris McNeil. There's no Troy Simons. And then Jaquan Lyle goes down preseason with the Achilles, and now Drew Drennan has an ankle. You're thin at guard and maybe didn't expect to be this thin.
Potentially so, and that's part of how college basketball works. Sports in general, navigating and working through injuries or unexpected occurrences with your roster and personnel, and those are things that have happened for sure. Puts a lot of pressure on Anthony Mathis, puts a lot of pressure on Keith McGee, as well as some of the other kind of veteran players to work through a period where we are a little thin there and making the most of it, particularly offensively. I think offensively is where something like that could be affected more than the defensive end, and we have to make sure offensively that we're still able to execute and play with the kind of pace, style, and rhythm that we want.
You talked also before this opener about the NAU scrimmage, the close scrimmage that you had, and not being happy with the defense that you played. What didn't you like, and what have you done to hopefully get better for your opener?
Spent quite a bit of time on it. Hopefully it's improving. A lot of it's just basics, basic core fundamentals and techniques of how to play one-on-one defense and where your feet should be and where your hands should be and where guys are positioned on the court and the words and verbal communication they should be using, and then obviously the rotations and things out of that. So just kind of stuck with it as much as we can. Hopefully we'll see a lot of progress here tonight.
You said that rebounding kept you up at night last season. Is there anything regarding this year's team that has caused you maybe to lose a little sleep in preparation for this year? Any concerns or things that you think that you'll have to focus on?
I think that offensive rhythm without a lot of or consistent experience point guard play, we have to make sure that offensively that doesn't really disjar us and kind of really disjoint the game in general by just not being able to get into a rhythm offensively and what kind of pressure that may put on our defense and things of that nature. So I think right now, you already kind of asked the question. I think what we're trying to spend a lot of time on is just making sure we're able to play solid while we're thin at guard.
It was at your presser before this opener that a media member mentioned to you that they saw on Halloween night a trick-or-treater wandering in their neighborhood in a Coach Weir outfit, in a Coach Weir costume, literally, with the cherry sweater and the whole deal.
Yeah.
What has been the response that you've gotten from the fans? Is it different or even better than you expected as you've gotten settled into Albuquerque?
Very much so. It's been terrific. It's been fun. Very enjoyable. I mentioned at that same presser, I think a lot of people say a lot of things about the Lobo basketball job. It was obviously my first year being the head coach here, and I even expected maybe some of those things to come my way, but not at one point did I ever feel that. And everything I've felt from people around the community, around the program, just supporters in general, fans in general, has been incredible. And things like that make it really fun to not only be the Lobo basketball coach, but hopefully fun where we're all in this thing together. Players, coaches, community members, fans, and we can make this program really special.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir is alongside a couple of important items. Dane Kuiper coming off a shoulder injury in the cherry and silver scrimmage. Is he ready to give you full go tonight? And as we approach game time, we're getting close to your opener. Is Carlton Bragg going to be eligible?
Dane is expected to play tonight. He's practiced full go here for a week now. It's obviously a shoulder that may bother him from time to time over the course of the year. I don't know if it'll be 100% or when he gets to 100%, but right now he's relatively pain-free and going to go through it. And Carlton, we're still working through at the NCAA, and we're hoping to hear before game time tonight whether he'll be a go or not.
And a final thought, this team that you're playing, Cal State Northridge, they have a lot of new faces as well. They have a whole new staff, a very high-powered staff led by Mark Gottfried, assisted by Jim Herrick. One guy's been to Sweet 16s and Elite Eights. The other guy's won a national championship.
Yep.
It's a completely brand new roster for them too, but what about preparing for them? I guess you had 2 scrimmages of theirs to look at?
Yeah, they played 2 exhibition games, a lot of new faces. You can just tell they're playing with a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm. What Coach Gottfried's done, just even the short amount of time he's been there, you can just see the imprint he's already made with regards to the recruiting, with regards to the players they brought in, the style that they're playing. It's a very formidable opponent, and they're going to come out with tremendous energy. We're expecting probably a sellout crowd. It's a big game for them as they open a new era and a new coach, and a tremendous test for us to go on the road against a team that is going to give us everything they got and fully intends to come out with a victory. So we have to make sure we're on our A game and do all the things that we need to do in order to come out with our own victory.
Well, the entire Lobo Nation is very excited about your second season getting started. I know you're pumped about it as well. We wish you the very best of luck against CSUN.
Thanks so much, Rob.
A lot to break down there from that conversation with Lobo head coach Paul Weir. We'll do it after this timeout. Remember, Everguard Solar and Everguard Roofing. Donate $10 for every Lobo slam dunk to all face. Everguard Solar can help you turn a sunny day into a money day. Everguard Roofing can fix a hole in your roof or give you a whole new roof. Back on the Lobo basketball pregame show from Northridge, California. After this timeout, it's Lobo basketball from Learfield. courtside in the Matadome on the campus of Cal State Northridge in Southern California. Lobos 87, Matadors 84. Roman Martinez just giving a big hug to Ryan Behrman, the director of operations for Lobo men's basketball, former student regent at the University of New Mexico as well, and fast riser. We'll probably all be working for Ryan Behrman one day.
He works hard. I tell you what, he makes this thing happen on the road.
He does.
He's attention to detail. Takes care of,
I Associates of New Mexico, proud of the long association with UNM Athletics. It's been a privilege serving Lobo athletes and fans around the state with vision, medical, and surgical services in 14 different locations. The Lobos win at 87-84 in unbelievable and dramatic fashion with Anthony Mathis with just over 6 seconds left, getting the inbounds pass in the backcourt, bringing it across the timeline up the right sideline as he moved from our right to left, and then rising from really 28?
Yeah.
28 feet. Wow. And banked it in, no less, with 0.3 of a second to go. An incredible finish to a phenomenal opener here at CSUN for the Lobos. 87-84 is the final. Okay, let's look at some of the totals, Hunter. And wow, this was an offensive show.
Yeah.
It really was. The Lobos shot 52% from the floor, 27 out of 52. And that's how they stayed in the game and won it, because CSUN kept getting extra chances. 16 offensive rebounds to beat the Lobos on the glass by 5, and they did mostly on the offensive end. They shot 72 more field goals than the Lobos. Only made 45%, but because they kept getting more attempts, they're able to hang around, and that offset the Lobos' advantage at the foul line.
Yeah, exactly. That was the Lobos were basically scored at the free throw line, and then of course the second chance opportunities that CSUN got at the rim with the offensive boards. Really, that was the game.
44 points in the paint, and a lot of those from that guy. Janae.
Yep.
He was something else tonight.
Yeah.
How about that? Coach Herrick comes over. Hell of a game.
Yeah.
Hell of a game.
No, they're going to be a pretty good team. I tell you, they've got some good pieces. Although they're young, first-year coach, CSUN will compete in the Big West.
3-point field goal percentage, 42% for the Lobos, 11 out of 26 for the evening. CSUN, 7 out of 20, 35%. They didn't make a three in the second half. Who would have thought that after what they did in the first half? 7 of 12. They went 0 for 8 in the second half. The Lobos obviously locked in on that in that locker room at halftime.
Either closing out or denying Gomez and Brown from the three.
Some other numbers. CSUN wins points in the paint 44-24. And points off turnovers 25-22. Second chance as well 13-4. And fast break 12-6. But the Lobos bench was better. 28-14. The Lobos win bench points. And at the foul line, New Mexico 22 out of 29 for 76%. CSUN a dismal 11 of 21 for 52%. CSUN didn't get to the line as often. They can be upset that on their home court the Lobos shot more free throws. But if they had made more of the ones that they had, they would have walked out of here a winner.
Yeah, they only shot 52% for the game from the free throw line. So there was missed opportunities for them there. But they made up for it on the O boards.
Totally. Made up for their shortcoming at the line by winning the offensive rebounding battle by 10, 16-6. New Mexico led by as many as 8 in the first half. CSUN by as many as 7 in the first half. The Lobos did have a 7-point second half lead as well, but we're hanging on for dear life at the finish. CSUN and New Mexico went back and forth really for the final 7 or 8 minutes of this game. Okay, time for us to get a break. The Lobo basketball postgame show continues after the timeout. New Mexico wins at 87-84 at CSUN to open their 2018-2019 season. Back up to this timeout. Lobo basketball from Learfield. Inside the Matadome on the Lobo basketball postgame show. New Mexico 87, CSUN 84 is your final. It is our privilege to welcome in the head coach for UNM, Paul Weir. Coach Weir, congratulations, and take us into that last huddle as you drew up the final play. I'm sure it ended with a bank shot to win it, right?
Yeah, we had a few last year as well. When we get into those situations, we really don't have specific plays. We just kind of put guys in spots and let guys guys kind of like make reads. We put 2 shooters down in the corner. We were going to try and get the ball to Tone on the run and allow him just to either probe and kick to one of those guys or maybe have a shot for himself. He kind of got slowed up a little bit in the backcourt. They did a good job to where he couldn't get it on the run, and he ended up obviously making a play on his own. So you got to tip your cap to Tone for the shot.
Well, Coach, first game of the season. A little bit of rust to start the game. The guys kind of got settled in here in the second half. What were your thoughts about how you started?
You know, I just told the guys, quite honestly, as frustrated or disappointed as I may have been in certain elements of the game, I really can't ask for anything more. To go in, play a game on the road, deal with everything that goes into that, have all our new faces and all our new pieces, and struggle a little bit, but then yet find a way, as ugly as it may have been, it's the best lesson you can teach. Roy Williams says that all the time. You know, a close win is the best way to teach, and this is going to be an amazing teachable moment for us to continue to grow from here. And it's our first game. Yeah. You know, we haven't done an exhibition game. You know, we haven't gone through this yet. And I wasn't quite expecting this, but I think I was expecting a lot more closer to this than maybe some people assumed, just because of the fact that we have a lot of new guys and we have a lot of new faces and a lot of new pieces that we're trying to put together. And we're a little thin at guard, and it's going to force a lot of guys to handle the ball in situations, and we'll look like we did tonight and throw it around a little bit and not look as pretty offensively as maybe we have in the past.
Cool, though, for the team this early in its season, obviously opening night on the road, to be able to celebrate in the visiting locker room. And what was it like in there after the game-winning shot? And you guys essentially walk them off.
Not quite the celebration some would think. You know, there's a lot of, like I said, teachable moments from this. We kind of emphasized a lot of that. We talked a lot about some things going into this game with regards to taking care of the basketball, with regards to containing Deanne and containing them on the glass, things that quite frankly we just didn't do. And we're going to have to grow in those areas if we want to become the team we want to become. And I told the guys that, you know, our team last year made exponential growth as the season went on. So I'm really not overly discouraged about what happened tonight. I'm discouraged in some certain elements as a basketball coach and where we're at, but the important thing is where we're going and what we're going to do and what we're going to take from this so we can keep moving forward. And as long as we do that, then this game was great for us. If it isn't, then obviously we're not ready to do the things that people think we're supposed to be doing this year.
Coach, at the start of the game, it looked like your strategy was to pound it inside.
Sure.
And why not? You've got some bigs this year. And for some reason, I'm not sure, maybe it's just the awkwardness, but that's where they had most of the turnovers was inside.
Yeah, I know. And we'd had really good success in our earlier scrimmage playing inside. It was something I thought we could do. I think their speed gave us issues. You know, I think their speed down there, our bigs just seemed a little off balance, a little off kilter.
Maybe nerves, maybe rust.
A little bit of that for sure. I told the guys that. They all think because they read all the stuff you guys say that they're the greatest, but hey, like, they're still kids, you know, and this is California. We got a bunch of family members here and all those kinds of things, and a lot of them looked that way. They looked like they were nervous and looked like some of that. So that's why this game is so powerful for us in a lot of ways.
You feel like you're going to have a better rebounding team this year, but the CSUN did a great job on the offensive glass tonight.
They did. I was just saying, you know, to our guys even a little bit too, their speed on the glass really bothered us. We have size, but they had speed, and I thought their willingness to go, I don't really think they were going above us and getting anything. They were going around us and getting stuff. They were getting stuff down low. They were getting stuff off the floor. They were getting stuff that was bouncing around, and that's something that we have to improve on. You know, we can't just rely on our size and all these rebounds are going to fall to us. Our box outs, we have to continue to move in our box outs. And Deanne is a terrific basketball player. I mean, we watched more film on him than anybody. I told the guys going into it, I thought he was an all Mountain West type of talent, and I think he proved that tonight. And it was hopefully a good wake-up call for our big guys.
Yeah, difficult to guard. He's got that reach above his head. He goes so high with this release.
He's long-armed, and he's really unorthodox, so just kind of a funky guy to guard and contain, and he's terrific. I mean, he is a terrific basketball player.
He kind of remind Rob a little bit of the kid you coached down at State, Pascal.
For sure, yeah. He's just unorthodox enough to make you just on your heels. He's not something you see a lot of, but he plays so hard. He does a heck of a job. And Gomez obviously was all Big West freshman of the year. He's a very good little player. Like I tell the guys all the time, like, most teams we play are going to have the best one or two players on the floor. Get over it. I don't care how good any of you think you are, and they have the best two players on the floor. We have to find a way to have 3 through 10 on the floor, and that's something that we have to keep working on and pounding into our guys' head. And once they embrace that concept, hopefully we'll embrace it quicker than last year's team did. I think we can still have a chance to have a really good season.
One of the things that clearly was an adjustment that you made at halftime, and it certainly worked. What was discussed regarding the 7 of 12 3-point shooting that they had in the first half? They were 0 for 8 in the second half. That was a big piece.
Yeah, we made a little bit of changes to our press, but honestly, I was just saying this as well. They made some shots in the first half. They did. I mean, it wasn't a situation where they weren't being guarded, or we had some miscues. But even in the second half, I thought they were getting the same looks they got in the first half. They just didn't have the legs to make them. And that's what I told the guys. That's part of the deal with us. They may make some early. They may do a lot of things early, but as the game goes on, they'll miss free throws. They'll miss threes. That's why we've always been able to, or we've been fortunate enough to win a lot of close games. They went 11 for 21 at the free throw line and 0 for 8 from 3 in the second half, and sometimes that's the difference between winning and losing.
So your bench, talk about your bench play.
Loved it. Just talk to the guys. I mean, once we embrace the fact that someone like Jordan Arroyo, someone like Keith McGee, they're our heroes, man. Our heroes aren't the guys that all get named in these awards and on the front of these magazines. And that's what, once we embrace that team concept, I still really believe in this team. And I think some of those guys did that tonight.
One of the guys that was on the front of a magazine, McQuatch Malawash, I called him your super sophomore tonight, in one of the key moments down the stretch of this game, fearlessly went to the rim and got a huge bucket for you. Can he take another exponential leap forward in his game after an incredible freshman year?
I hope so. I was just saying too, that's his first game ever playing guard, and he bobbled the ball a lot and he missed it here and there, and he's still trying to find you can even see it. You can see him trying to get comfortable playing somebody else. Vance Jackson, same thing. They just unfortunately need some reps. That's why this game is so, I couldn't ask for anything more than to go through this and take all this and grow and learn from it. And all these guys realize now what they need to do is not just me saying it. Now we have actually film and game footage to back it up, and let's just kind of keep growing and learning from it.
How about the minutes played? It looked like 29 minutes. Vladimir played the most minutes at 29 minutes. Are you comfortable with those minutes? Or are you?
Yeah, I mean, that's really what we did all last year. There shouldn't really be anybody over that. Vlad had played a little more because we got foul trouble. Corey had the 2 in the first half, and then Kareem was battling foul trouble the second half. Jordan, I thought, gave us some great minutes to kind of spell the bigs a little bit. And unfortunately, I just didn't feel comfortable. I thought, Vance and Quash were just struggling offensively with the decision making and their speed, and I just wanted to kind of keep some bigs on the floor as well. So it's something we'll continue to work through. We have to make sure we take care of the ball. This is something I think I told Rob in the pregame. What's going to keep you up at night, and what keeps me up at night is taking care of the ball offensively. That's the one thing that's going to concern me with this team, with Drew out, with Jaquan going down, with Anthony learning how to play point guard now, with all these things going on. It's our ball control that we have to find a way to make sure we do, and we didn't do a very good job of that tonight. I'm not even going to pretend that we did. We have to continue to work on that going forward.
So then this is an odd circumstance. You've got a week before your next regular season game, and you get this exhibition stuck right in the middle that you can use coming up this weekend.
Exactly. No, that's why to come out here with a win is huge because we kind of purposely move the schedule back. I kind of mentioned that in the radio to where we're going to have a lot of practice time to continue to grow. And then we have this one, and then we have a game, and then we have another 4 days, then we have a game, then we have a week, then we have another game, then we have another week and another game. So, we're only going to be 5 regular season games in about 3 weeks into the year, which is 4 regular season games in 3 weeks in the year, which is exactly what we needed. We needed a lot of practice time early in the year to get everyone molded, and all the wins we can kind of get here early are literally just like extra. They're just check marks. They're great. They're great to have as we're learning and growing as a team.
Final thought, and then we'll let you go, and thank you so much for your time. Is this what you want this year's team to look like in terms of the pace and the way that the game flowed tonight? Is this how you've envisioned it with this group?
I think it's a start. I think every team goes through a little bit of an organic process, and you manage it and you adapt it, and that starts tonight. And now we go back and we make some subtle adjustments offensively, defensively, move guys around the board a little bit, do some different things. We did some different things as the game unfolded tonight in the press. We did some different things in different ways, and that's a process that really is ongoing. It goes all the way through March, and that's my job and our job to continue to do now.
Congratulations.
Thanks,
Season
man.
opener in the books.
Thank you very much.
Victory.
Thank you.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir. Time for us to get a timeout on the Lobo basketball postgame show. 87-84. Lobos win on a Mathis banked in 3 with 3/10 left. Lobo basketball from Learfield. Welcome back on your Lobo basketball postgame show. New Mexico 87, CSUN 84 is the final. It's time to select our PNM reliable player of the game. There is no doubt where we're going with this. He is the 4th best percentage three-point shooter in all of college basketball, coming off a breakout season as a junior last year. Lobo senior and game changer tonight, none other than Anthony Mathis. McQuatch Malawatch will inbound in the backcourt to our right. 6.1 seconds remaining. Pinchuk and Mathis stacked in the backcourt. They get it to Tone. Tone works it up the far right baseline. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Deep wing 3 on the way for Tone. He baked it home with 3/10 of a second to go. And a heave at the horn is no good for CSUN. Full game. Lobos win it 87-84 as Anthony Mathis banks in the game-winning 3 from the right wing. About 28 feet, you think?
28 feet.
Exactly. How about that? Anthony Mathis is the PNM Reliable Player of the Game. PNM delivers reliable energy to you 24/7. Committed community partners adding cleaner resources, including more solar and wind energy. Working to build a strong, sustainable energy future for New Mexico. Talk to us at pnm.com, where you can manage your account and learn how to save money on your electric bill. Your PNM Reliable Player of the Game, none other than Anthony Mathis with the game-winning 3-point shot. Tone finished with 12 points, 4 of 7 from distance, and 3 assists in 25 minutes. Anthony Mathis is your PNM Reliable
Here's the game-winning
Player
shot.
of the Game.
Right there by the timeline.
All right, we'll get out of here for a final break. When we come back on the other side, we'll get you your State Farm Insurance Assist of the Game. The Lobos had one Everguard Solar and Everguard Roofing slam dunk tonight. That's $10 to Allface. Allface serves over 2,500 kids and their families every year by teaching them how to prevent abuse and guiding them as they recover from it. Help us give children back their childhood. Learn more by visiting allface.org. Back after this break, 87-84 Lobos. Lobo basketball from Learfield. To wrap it up on the Lobo basketball postgame show, New Mexico 87-84 winners over CSUN. Okay, it is time to select our State Farm Insurance Assist of the Game. When teammates help each other out, great plays happen like this. Anthony gives it back to McQuatch. Left wing 3 on the way. Oh, beautiful. 2-man game between McQuatch and Tone. Tone finds Quatch for the 3. Yeah, beautiful dime right there, dropped by Anthony Mathis, and McQuatch Malawatch cashed it in. Your State Farm Insurance Assist of the Game, presented by State Farm. Get an agent that gets you. The Lobos got it done, Hunter. Got a W and a big one on the road, 87-84. In the final analysis, what was the difference for you tonight? How did UNM get over the top with a group that, this is the first time they've been together of the men that played tonight, only 4 of them returning from last year, and they figure out a way to do it on the road in their opener for 2018-2019.
Well, I think, the leadership of Mathis and Kuiper, those seniors, they showed some poise when things weren't going their way, and they kind of grinded it out, if you will. I mean, that's kind of what happened there. And, of course, Malawach going off the dribble to the rim. Instead of settling for jump shots, they kind of went to the rim and got to the free throw line somehow. I think that was really why they were able to stay in this game and pull out a victory at the end. Is just that the senior leadership just being poised at the end, not panicking.
That layup by Quach with 34 seconds left gave the Lobos the 84-80 lead. And CSUN, give them credit, man. They came right back down. Godfrey got to the rim, got it within 2, and then the Lobos did turn it over. A big turnover there that gave them a chance, gave CSUN a chance, and Janae was able to hit the tying bucket, but he left time on the clock. And with a guy like Anthony Mathis on the other side, that's playing with fire right there.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we didn't talk to Coach a lot about Vance Jackson's turnover, but he did talk a little bit about, guys are playing new positions. Vance Jackson's going to have to step up and handle the basketball a lot more, especially on the break, because he's tall enough to throw over the defense. That time he wasn't able to do it. He threw it away, but as he becomes more comfortable in that role, in that position, and the same for Malawach, playing his natural position, a 2 or 3. You're going to expect a little bit of a learning curve here, if you will. But like I said, there was no panic. Guys stayed the course and really able to knock down the free throw. I think the free throws at the end was key because they weren't able to score the basketball other than at the free throw line.
The Lobos tonight did an excellent job defensively at the rim, and they picked up a total of 4 block shots. Kareem Ezzedine with 3 blocks before he fouled out. 1 block shot by Corey Manigault. Those are 2 guys who are going to be playing a lot of that 4 position. They need the interior defense from those 2 guys, and that's 5 different occasions where Valley Fence made a block hunger donation to the Roadrunner Food Bank. New Mexico needs a defense like that. All right, Hunter, that's going to do it for us for tonight. Big thank you to Malik Taylor, our broadcast producer and engineer in the studios of Learfield in Jeff City, Missouri. Lobo basketball is on the air next with an exhibition from Dreamstyle Arena, The Pit. That's 7 o'clock Mountain Time this coming Saturday. Airtime 6:30 across the statewide Lobo radio network with your Lobo basketball pregame show. But your next broadcast on the network will be Lobo football from the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. That's a 1:30 kickoff this coming Saturday, so you got a double dip of basketball and football preceding it together on the same day this coming Saturday. That's a 12:30 airtime with the Lobo basketball pregame show and the expanded tailgate show, of course, locally in Albuquerque with J.J. Buck and Ned James. That'll start even an hour earlier than that at 11:30. J.J. is at the ready right now for your overtime call-in show. That is coming up next. Hunter, great way to start, man. Coming home for you and walking out with a W.
Yeah, no, it's, for a first game, like Coach said, they hadn't had any exhibition games, and to go on the road, you'd like to learn with a W. You like to teach with a win on the road, and he's definitely got some teachable moments on film during this week here, but, there were some bright spots. We talked about, Corey Manigault. I mean, this kid, he's got a huge upside. So you'd like to see. I love this part of the year because you see the guys who are just coming out, and you can just see the maturity of them. The goal is March, right? We're still in November, and so some of these guys have a huge upside.
Kareem Ezzedine is another one of those guys. And
yes.
The thing that I love is just because he was 0 for 4 from 3 tonight, Coach Ware, I'm sure, told him every one of those shots you took tonight is a great shot in our offense. I know you can make them. I want you to keep firing, big fella. And he makes them. He's going to make them. Yeah. He has a sweet stroke.
And he likes to shoot from the top of the key, and he took those shots at the top of the key. So once he gets settled in, and he'll knock those down.
Great stuff, partner.
All right. Thanks Rob.
Okay. That'll do it for us. I'm Robert Portnoy for Hunter Green and Malik Taylor. JJ Buck coming up with the Overtime Call-In Show. New Mexico basketball starts the season 1-0. We say so long for now. And the final score for the final time. UNM defeats Cal State Northridge on the road. New Mexico 87. CSUN 84. So long, everybody. You've been listening to Lobo Basketball from Learfield.